Good morning, everyone. So it's just gone 11 o'clock here on Saturday morning in the Sable Lane. Jane and I are still in the office sorting out bits and pieces, and we've got 3 sailors out there, not forgetting Igor, of course, over in Russia, hoping to be back to his boat in Albany sometime in November, but he's a bit quiet, so hopefully he's either recovering or getting better or whatever, and we'll see him join the GGR later this year. So at the moment, Suhaili's position hasn't been upgraded, but I reckon she's probably about here somewhere, and Tapio is trying to track him down and keep up with the race to the finish. So that'd be an objective, because Suhaili will get back to the Sable Lane just in time for the prize giving. So if Tapio can do it, that'll be cool. Bit of a mixed bag weather-wise. I'll just pull that up again a bit more. He's going through the horse latitudes, and there's a bit of everything. So at the moment, he's making 4.7 knots, which is quite incredible. When you look at the wind there, this time was 8 o'clock, so that's 9 o'clock local. So the position's 2 hours old, and that weather at the moment is showing the weather for 11 o'clock UTC. So the weather's current, but the position's a little bit behind, but it's suggesting there is not much there. As you know, if I check on the currents, he's been sitting on some good currents, and in fact it's really quite spooky, because his track started at the bottom round here. It went around and up and back and forwards. I've got no idea whether he's getting current information, and he's actually targeted that. He may well be, the radio guys may be giving him the current position. I got no idea. If he does, that's completely legal. It's like a weather forecast, and it's certainly been kicking him along. So who knows what. And this is just a guide, that's saying there's sort of like a 1.5 knot, but it can easily be a lot more. So maybe he's just working the current, so I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him later on, because if we look back, this is the last of the sort of main currents. You're coming into the trade wind zone up here, and you can see it all dies off completely. So so kind of interesting. Anyway, back to the wind. As you heard the other day, he always enjoys his time at sea, and it's going to get a little bit slow, because these winds, even though they're light, they're going to turn into headwinds. Right now they're on his beam, they're on his port beam, but as he goes up, if it holds, that's what he's got. And I think I'll just animate this going through every 3 hours. So every time you see the screen go boom, it's a 3-hour difference. I'll pick it up one more size here so we can see what's going on. Every one of these squares too, by the way, so from that latitude there to here is actually 600 miles. It's 10 degrees. So this is 40 degrees south, and this is 30 degrees south. So that's every degree is 60 miles. So that's 600 miles from top to bottom. So a few days. So I click on that, and I'll just bounce it through every 3 hours, so you can see how it's changing pretty quickly. It's a very interesting area for weather. It seems to be settling down there, and generally while he's on the beam now, again as he goes forward, it's still, it's moving around on his beam, so he's looking okay there. So there's through to the 24th, that's one day, good following southerly breeze there, probably blowing about 15 knots, maybe up to 20 knots or so. So that's all pretty good, especially seeing that's probably about 300 odd miles, so that's a couple of days. That's the 25th, so it's 2 full days ahead. He's got a good kick there, nice sailing. That's going to follow through. By then he's up here somewhere. So he's got pretty good breezes. That's going through to the 26th, so that's 3 days. Let's say he's been averaging 4 knots, so it's 300 miles. Let's see where he would be. So there's 320 miles. So at this stage, for this weather, he's somewhere up in that zone, and that's probably about where he will be. That's probably about the average speeds he's going to be making, 100 miles a day, which is pretty good. Goes through a bit of a light patch there, but then this following breeze is coming up as well. He'll be up onto that latitude line by there. So actually he's not doing too bad. It's worked out okay. A few days ago it looked as if it was going to be all a little bit messy. So he's now transitioning up into this area here, and that's still a good breeze. It's swapped over to his starboard side. So okay, so maybe he's going to hold his own with Suhaili. Robin will be under pressure now. So Robin knocks Johnson on Sir Haley, so that's interesting. Anyway, certainly no storms there, and I think he'll be pretty happy. Wondering whether he's got the butterfly there or whether the butterfly landed on the boat. Who knows? Let's come up here and see what Istvan and Uku are up to. We'll come back to real-time weather now. And I'll come back big to show you this storm. It's a dandy. The Azores just here, they're going to get hammered a little bit, but they've missed the worst of it. It didn't actually come down as far south as what it was projecting a few days ago. And if we quickly just scan through, you see it disappears really quick. That's only 1 day away. In 1 day, it's all gone. So as we said from the very beginning, this storm wouldn't come anywhere near Uku. It's more a case of either good breezes or calms. So we'll come back here and we should be able to look at both of them in perspective there. I'll just zoom, focus in on that. So right now, Uku's doing well, 6.8 knots. He's got a great breeze all from behind. He's probably got something up like a spinnaker or something. And Istvan's sitting in a hole, 2.6 knots there, 2.5 knots. So now that's the average picture. I'll come up big just to show you, for those that are on mobile phones, exactly what's going to happen to Uku over the next few days. So we'll click on every 3 hours that it goes through. He's got a nice breeze there at the moment. He's going northeast, getting good weather forecasts. That's all coming from his starboard quarter now, so perfect sailing. Be a nice sea. That's 24 hours, a day and a half ahead. Yep, good breezes all the way. Starts to move around a bit, so he's probably up around this area at that stage. Still good breezes. It's not on the nose, but it's starting to move forward of the beam and lightening off. So that's going to go light a little bit. This is through to the 24th. Let's take it through to the 26th. So that's the 26th. That's 3 days ahead, and he will have easily made about 400 miles by then. So I'll just pull his position forward 400 miles. Okay, so at that stage he's going to be up here somewhere. All right, so I'll drag that back and just remember that's where he is about the time of this weather, which is nice sailing again. He's going to be making good speed there every 3 hours. Then it's going to go light for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 8 is 24 hours. So he's going to have a slow day there. Not going to go very far during that time. You saw what was happening. And this is where you get into the risk now. He's been pushed forward to the coast rather than coming up through here to the Azores. And when you, this is interesting, when you get close to the coast, you run the risk of getting caught the wrong side of this system here, because everything on this side is going to be headwinds. So, and you can see general course has been up in this direction, and he might find himself there. So then it's a case of, okay, depending on what this is actually a high. I got to keep. I'm so used to the Southern Ocean. I've got to keep remembering that everything's reversed in the Northern Hemisphere. So he's got to get the other side. So let's see where this one goes. And at this stage, Uku would be on the wrong side of that. It formed up as a calm, and now it's forming up as a system. So let's see what happens here. Okay, we might be okay because it's starting to squash into the coast. He'll definitely have to come over here to get that lift. Either that, or he's going to have a calm system or whatever. So he's going to have to move back across to get into that. So a little bit far ahead to talk about the reliability of that. That's into the 1st, so that's over a week away. Forecast can change, and the thing that's driving it is another low pressure system here in storms that's compressing everything over here. So it'll all depend on what this guy does to determine what the weather is for Uku. And it's interesting because we're projecting he'll arrive. I did an estimate, worked out the daily speeds and so on a couple of days ago, and he was saying the 11th. It's still too hard to call. That's the bottom line. So he could speed up depending on what happens with that system, or slow right down. So let's come back here to poor old Istvan. He's got to get the other side, and remembering, of course, in fact, I'll bring the tracks up for all the other boats. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so this was you won't be able to see that probably. It's a little bit too faint. But anyway, here's Jean-Luc. He went up through the Azores there. Okay, and this was Mark Slats coming up here. I don't know whether you can see that. I don't know whether it's pulsing. I'll focus in. And Uku's going to end up going out to the side here. So Istvan is come back, arriving in a more traditional weather sense. He's got a big low pressure system up here, and you'll see what happens. He's trying to get across this centre of what is effectively, you could say it's a high here, and that's going to be challenges for him. So if we click it through I'll just build the screen up so you can see it a bit more. Every 3 hours, it's not working. You'll see the challenge he's going to have over the next number of days. So very much stuck in light winds, not a long way, not an easy way out. And on the other side of it, of course, he's got headwinds. And this is where he's got to go. But you can see here the trade winds are starting to come up from the south again, join up with this and form together. And so I'll just zoom this out, and you can see effectively this system's disappearing, and it's just putting the trade winds back on him. So he's got the trade winds. So you've got a northeasterly or a northerly there, but it's going northeast. They're going to form up. So he's still got, after waiting for a couple of days, he will be sitting there for 2 days doing nothing. He's then got the trade winds reforming above him, so he's going to have to sail out here again. And then look what's happening. The Azores High is another one's formed in front of him. This is the more traditional Azores High. If I pull that down, here's the Azores there. So he's got to go through it all again. So he's lucked out on the weather this time. And so as he's working his way up here, that's the next challenge. And once again, if we zoom back out, it's all being driven by the system above. That's what's blocking, this low pressure or this storm above is blocking everything, squeezing it up, forming the centre of the high there. And Istvan's got to somehow try and get through that, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very slow for him. So he just had a haircut, but he's probably going to lose a bit more hair over this. So I'm trying to think here. Hang on, that's probably it. So I'll just quickly just bounce this through. So yeah, so that'll be his next challenge, to get through that, because that's the only way he can get to these favourable winds up here that are sending him in the right direction. There's no way he can go out to the coast there. He's got to go north, and he'll probably even end up into this one before he gets through. So somehow he's got to break through, but plenty of challenges. That's really about it. We're still in the office, and I'm hoping to do the live questions and answers in a few hours. Could be here or it could be back home. We're not sure. Got some other stuff going on. So thanks for that. Remember, Mark Slats is going to arrive home. There'll be lots of lives going on there from the dock as he gets in, and they've got drones up or something to film. So we'll try and share that if we can find it and get it on so you can see his arrival. I'm sure there'll be a few people there to say good day. Thanks a lot. See you later.